Hi, I'm Nikki Olivares.
My name's Ilan Olivares.
We both serve in the worship team. I sing, I'm the vocal director, and I also am worship leading. And I actually also serve on the production team as the service coordinator.
I'm also on the worship team. I do drums. We do video camera sometimes. I've been coming to Abundant since 2007.
I've been coming to Abundant for 24 years, since I was 6 years old. My mom grew up Christian, and when she moved to the United States with my dad, they got married in Germany. So when she moved here, it was really important to her to find a church for us to go to. We moved to the east side from the northeast, and my mom didn't know where to go to church. And so the youth pastor at our old church actually suggested Abundant. Started coming through the bus ministry because my dad worked, so he couldn't actually take us. We were a big family with one income household. My mom couldn't work because my eldest sister is disabled. There's 9 of us, my parents, 4 sisters, 2 brothers, so 7 kids. We lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment. All the kids shared one room. My parents had their room, and that was just our norm. We played in the courtyard with each other and our neighbors every day. And then we moved to the east side, and suddenly we got a little bit more space. We had a 4-bedroom home, and I still shared with 2 of my sisters, but when it was our birthday, we would always ask for one thing, and sometimes we had to wait, but they would always make sure they had something for us. Christmas too. I don't ever remember feeling disappointed. I was content, I was happy. Sometimes we'd go to the grocery store and my mom couldn't get everything that she put in her basket. Going back to the bus ministry, the food from the bus ministry really did help. My dad's paycheck was a little bit smaller than normal. He works on commission. And so we had to get food from the food pantry, and talk about extreme generosity. It was usually 1 bag per family, and they knew how big our family was and they knew the need, and they would give us more than 1 bag. School supplies were something that if my dad didn't get paid at a certain time, I would have to tell my teachers, hey, I'm not gonna get supplies until my dad gets paid. And then the school supply giveaways started happening. We got backpacks. Just having a new backpack was great, and having materials, there were instances where I desperately needed a new pair of shoes, and they were there for me. And I remember there was one pair of shoes. They were gray with like Velcro straps, and they had little green detailing. And I wore those shoes for at least 3 years. They lasted me quite a while. The clothing giveaways that they used to do at Faith Ministry, it was nice to be able to go and to grab a couple of extra pieces, maybe to grab a jacket. Our first Christmas toy giveaway, they bussed us in, I think it was on a Saturday, and we watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas in the main auditorium, and it was the most amazing thing. I remember the set was insane, and after that, they take us through the back room, and there's just tables and tables and tables of toys. And I'm looking around like, wow. And they're telling me, hey, pick out your toy. I was like, okay. So I grabbed one. I think it was a basketball. And they're like, well, grab another one. I was like, hold on. Wait, what do you mean another one? Yeah, grab another one. And walking out with 2 items was kind of groundbreaking. And I just remember going home and telling my mom, hey, can you wrap these gifts and put them under the tree so that I could have more than one thing to open that year? Knowing that the church was gonna be there for me each year when I needed supplies, and the church was gonna be there for us if we needed a Thanksgiving meal, just knowing the church was gonna be there for us, that God was providing for us in a supernatural way. That's how my mom describes it all the time, right? God will provide, God will make a way, God will provide. And how was he providing? Through the generosity of the church.
I think the culture at Abundant, it's like from the very top, the DNA is, how can you expect people to be approachable or open on a spiritual sense if you're not taking care of their fundamental needs in the first place? So having people be fed and be taken care of before you pursue the spiritual side of things, I think you just approach it on a wholesome thing where it's like, we're gonna take care of you spiritually, physically, we're gonna feed you, you're gonna have counseling with our pastors, you're gonna have access to us, the resources, and I think that just makes Abundant be so different, that you're taking everything a person is and you're taking care of every angle.
I just knew that church was a place where they take care of people, where they make sure that like the Bible talks about, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, right? And give to the poor. It's just a church that truly believed in what they were teaching and truly believed in generosity and making sure that those who did not have would have. I really understood God once I moved to Abundant and they started teaching us how to live the life God wants us to live. And really, Kids Church did start doing that for me. The Kids Church at Abundant was just so relatable. They knew what kids liked. They knew what kids wanted to do, what they wanted to hear. They knew I was actually learning about who God was and what he was doing and what he promised. And I knew that there was someone protecting me. That was kind of my first understanding of who Jesus was and what God was in my life. I just knew there was someone that was going to protect me. And then transitioning into youth, that's when I really started to pay more attention to praise and worship. I actually was singing songs and understanding their meaning, and every youth camp was amazing. And I started to want a little bit more. I joined a dance team. I don't think anybody's gonna remember that there was a dance team in 180, but for a brief moment there was. And a friend from the dance team said, hey, I'm gonna volunteer in Kids Church. I'm gonna start acting. Do you wanna join me? And they were offering to give me rides to church to serve. And I said, let's do it. And it was amazing. It let me be myself. I realized that I was a closet weirdo. And I just had so much fun with it. I would play a Valley Girl. I would play a Brain. I had to play an old lady, just so many different things. And the most fun part about it was getting the kids interacted with what we were doing. The lesson that they just learned, we were performing a practical skit, teaching them and showing them what that looked like in real life. They weren't still doing productions for the toy giveaway. At this point in time, it was already at the Coliseum, where they said, hey, do you want to come to the toy giveaway as a character? And I said, sure. Can you be tour guide Barbie? I had to keep my hands like this the whole time, which was fantastic because I was frozen. I didn't want to break character at all. And that was really hard just because seeing everybody's face, I'm thinking, man, did I look like that when I was a kid? Was I that joyful? And I think I was. It was that moment when I realized, hey, I'm on the other side. Who knows which of those kids would be impacted enough to see me standing there as tour guide Barbie, smiling, and think to themselves, I want to come to this church. This sounds so cool. And then that December, we did the Christmas show, the Christmas production, and I decided, hey, I'm about to graduate high school. I was in choir for 6 years and I still wanted to keep singing. And I knew that they had singing in Kids Church because I had been volunteering there for about a year. And so I tried out. And that same Sunday, or I think the next Sunday, I joined them singing praise and worship. But that taught me a lot. That experience taught me so much, praise and worship. And I learned how to identify different harmonies. I learned what it meant to be a vocal director. And the craziest part about all of it is I went to go get vocal lessons with Pastor Ezra to improve my skill for serving in Kids Church. And it actually led me to singing in a main service. I kind of had felt I was ready to move on. And it also helped that my boyfriend at the time was on the worship team. About 6 years ago, I started volunteering as a vocal director. And I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not served in Kids Church. And it's just so much of Kids Church has impacted my life, and to the point that when I served in Kids Church as an actor, I learned a lot of skills that actually helped me for my last 2 years teaching to be a theater teacher, which is something I never thought I could do, but it's just God gave me those skills. And it's just been such a well-rounded component of my life, and I just feel so blessed to have been part of Abundant and to have grown up in Abundant.
God is not just a God that you worship on Sundays and then you move on with your day. God is a God that he wants to be involved in your day, and he wants to be personal, and he's going to give you something unique because that's what he created for you. And he's going to protect you. He's going to provide you. He's going to be a parent. He's going to be whatever you need him to be. And if you need wisdom, you need security you need, certainty you need, friendship, whatever you need. I think that's who God is. We tend to put God, Jesus in this box. It's like, oh, he's just the savior. No, he's so much more than that.
Amongst all of that, my mom really did understand that we're blessed to be a blessing. My mom was generous. She tithed every single service. And when they announced the new Abundant campus, she gave. And my dad didn't quite understand it at first, but he started coming to church with us a little bit more in 2006. His schedule shifted. He was able to come a little bit more, and he got it. And my parents just consistently, they gave to the building project. They also gave their tithe and offering, and it wasn't always easy, but I think it's just a source of pride that amongst all of that, they were giving and God was still providing in so many ways. And my parents were able to give so much to the building project. They ended up with a square on the Walk of Faith. And I look at that, the Mannix family, just a source of pride. And knowing that no matter what life throws at you, if you trust God, if you are generous with God and you're giving and you know that he's gonna provide, he just proves it to you. The bus ministry and the giveaways and the school giveaways, the shoes, clothes, everything that Abundant did, it was just that proof to my parents, like, hey, we are blessed to be a blessing, and I will bless you. You build my house and I will build your house. Just God was just always a part of my life. I prayed constantly. I reached out to him when I needed guidance, when I needed help. And I knew that there were people in my life who I volunteered with that I could go to for spiritual guidance. And eventually I became that for other people. And my relationship with God and my personal revelation of who God is and who Jesus is was strengthened throughout every single experience. You know, that revelation of, wow, God is my provider.
I agree.
When I was, working this toy giveaway, looking at other people and realizing I was on the other side. Wow, what has he done for me? Wow, I'm so grateful for everything he's done in my life. I was meant to be here, I was planted here. Abundant is just so much deeper than your Sunday Christian church life. It's just a culture of believing in Jesus. It's a culture of having God as a part of your life. It's not a culture of religion. It's a culture of trusting in God. I don't think there's any words that can truly convey the gratitude in my heart for everybody who gave so that the bus ministry could happen, to everybody who gave so that I could get a new pair of shoes when I had holes in my shoes, to everybody who gave so that my family could have a Thanksgiving meal, to everybody who gave so that I could go to school supplied. There's no words to say thank you, but your giving makes a difference in lives like mine and for so many more children to come. You have no idea the impact that will have on a child's life. So thank you.